The Scott Ryfun Radio Show.
Hey, good morning, South Georgia 40. How are we this morning? Let's check in with everybody on your Thursday. Man, no, yesterday was a big, busy day, and going to keep being that way, I guess. Garrett says, good morning from number 188. We've made it over the weekly hump. Yes, indeed, we have, but we've still got a lot more to go. A lot more to go. It doesn't feel like it right now because we're just looking at a couple of days, but there's a lot going on today, too. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Good morning from 147. Greetings, programs. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Love the title at the top. Waiting for Scott. Good morning, all. There's our thumbs up from Paul. Now we can get going. Good morning, Scott and chat. Good morning. Good morning, Scott. Everybody, 149 here. Howdy, campers. Good morning. My wife's birthday and last work day before our cruise. It's going to be a great day. Oh, it is. Happy birthday to Mrs. Kaysen. And I'm sorry about all the Hot Wheels. That's all I can tell you. Sorry about all the Hot Wheels. Corey says, good morning, everybody. What's up? Permission to come aboard. Number 180. Good Thursday morning. Facebook and YouTube in sync. Go with throttle up. I have no idea what that means, but okay. Good morning, digging the new ticker. I could say the same to you, sort of, right? Good morning, Scott and crew, number 90 out there in Jessup, Mr. Blocker. Does that mean tomorrow is Fury's Friday? You never know. You never know. Tony, good morning. Back-to-back meetings this morning, so just checking in. Well, good to have you while we have you. Morning. Now it's all caps. Excellent. By Grab Thor's Hammer. Hi. Let's see. Number 161. The sponsor on high school football going to be local or Glen Bake headache powder? You decide. I don't know. Good morning. And on this day in 2012, the free abortion clinic at the Democrat convention was closed before Hillary Clinton lauded Kamala for Kamala's protection of children. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Will the sponsors of, are the sponsors? I have a bad habit of, discussing things probably before I should. I told you that yesterday. And, I was supposed to talk to the iHeart folks to finalize my involvement or not in high school football, whether or not, whatever that was going to be. We were going to have a discussion about it yesterday. Only thing they ever reached out to me was trying to find some equipment. I think they pretty much put it on G-Man's shoulders. And he's taking it and running with it, but he can't do anything. I think they fully expect him to just do the games today and tomorrow, and then they'll worry about the rest of it next week. So I don't know, honestly, what's going on. They had talked to me about coming in and stepping in and helping out. And, again, they were supposed to talk to me again about it yesterday. Didn't do so. Also today is supposed to be and the funny thing is today is supposed to be my deadline on, telling them whether or not I'm coming back. And, I was fully prepared to have that conversation with them yesterday instead, but didn't talk to him for some reason. So, that having been said, I don't really know anything. And of course I was getting texts from people. I hear you're doing football again this year. And what did I tell you yesterday? I said, might. But that's about as far as I am so far, sadly. But we'll, again, we'll figure it out over time. But I know nothing of what's going on at this point. I know a little just because I've talked to G-Man and I've tried to help him out. But other than that, I know nothing. Yesterday, interesting day. I, because of the new job and because my hours are much later in the day and much less flexible than the radio hours. I mean, because, I was kind of, one of the nice things about doing the radio thing is, I have to be at the station at 4:00. I mean, really, to get everything done. I had, to be there at 6 show after and till 10:30 or so to do the podcast feed and everything. But after that, I could pretty much work anywhere. I would go to lunch and just sit and type stuff for work. I could do anything anywhere. And this is the new gig is not, and I could work any when, if I needed to shove stuff off till 8 or 9 at night, that was my choice. I could do that. It's not the way the new gig works, unfortunately. So I had to give up trivia at Marsh's Edge. we did the final one yesterday, and it was sad because I've done it out there for 9 years, and when I took it over, and Evie Wright contacted me when she was doing it, and she said, I'm leaving town, moving away, and they want me to find somebody to replace me doing the trivia. And she's like, and I can't think of anybody better than you. And I said, okay, great. So I sat down with her, and I watched her do it one time, and then after that, I took it over. And it was a learning curve because those guys they know what they want, and you've got to figure out how to give it to them. But also still sometimes you don't give it to them. It's the expectation, we know we want this, but a lot of people know they want that, but they also don't know what else they want. And you give them something, okay. So anyway, it was a learning curve trying to really figure out how to do it well and make it work, make them happy. And got to know a lot of those folks really well, and really came to appreciate a lot of them just as just wonderful human beings and friends. And so I had to quit it, and it got and they were so sweet to me yesterday. It's crazy how I have all the things. Oh, they're in the kitchen. Mrs. Rifen has them in the kitchen. They gave me a certificate. They gave me a clock to take to work with an engraving on it. And it was just really neat. And I got to tell you, my life is richer for having done trivia of all things at Marsh's Edge. Is not one of those things that you would think is something that would make your life richer, but it did. Just for getting to know a lot of those folks there. And and it's funny because one of the notes on one of the cards said, thank you for taking, or I got it. Actually, it was Joan Harris who used to do all those wonderful plays at the Island Players. And she said, thank you for taking the time with us senior citizens. And it made me realize, because that's kind of a refrain that I've heard a lot in going out to Marsh's Edge, is people thanking you for taking your time for senior citizens. And, these are great people. And one of the things I really learned very early on is, and it's a mistake a lot of people make when dealing with senior citizens, is they talk down to them. And you don't talk down to them because they don't want to be talked down to, because they're adults. And they're adults, in the back of their mind, when you're talking down to them, they're going, not only am I an adult, but I've seen more and done more than you ever will. And you have to think about that when you're dealing with senior citizens, is don't talk down to them. They don't want to be talked down to. Talk to them like they're adults. Give them a little grief and a little guff from time to time, because they appreciate that. But they also just have a wealth of experience, knowledge. They're a wonderful resource. And I think, just based on the gratitude that people showed out there, it's obvious to me that not enough people recognize the value of senior citizens to our society. And so, I just say, if you have an opportunity to spend time to learn from senior citizens, take the time to do so, because we have a lot of wonderful seniors in our community. And I'm of course not specifically referring to the ones that show up on the causeway on Saturday mornings, but the other ones, it's again, a wonderful resource. You are doing yourself a disservice if you do not engage with the senior citizens of the world. That's just the living, breathing truth. Carolyn says, good morning. Good morning to you. Glen Academy softball, 5:00 at home against Pierce today. And so that is there on notice. Good morning, Scott, number 70. Good to have you here, Ms. Diane Reed. Well, I mean, that's probably true of a lot of places. Bobby says, good morning. Number 8 says, good morning. There you go. Great evening last night. We had a lot. It was just a lot of fun. And I hate that it has to end, but it does, sadly, for right now anyway. For right now. Now, my theory, the corporate overlords realizing G-Man's been carrying you on high school football this whole time. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Good morning, Mr. Rife, and fellow members of the 40, number 111. Beautiful weather in Guyton today. That's good. That's very good to know. Good AM. Sounds like you're negotiating with Iran. Yeah. Yeah. It just is kind of weird because, yeah, we were supposed to finalize, whether or not I'm doing high school football and what we're going to do. And I based on talking to G-Man yesterday, I think their expectation is that he's going to do everything by himself. And obviously, and I explained to them 2 days ago that that's not realistic after this week. It's okay this week, but after that, not so much because they're going to be playing at the same time. So again, I don't know how it's going to work out. Just know that I might be involved. I might not be, which is kind of what I was saying yesterday. Although I was leaning towards saying yes to them, but I didn't get a chance to say yes to them on that. But it's probably a thing I will do. Let's see. Who else do we have? Oh, we have Muriel saying good morning. Good morning, Muriel. Jesse, number 33, is late. Shame on you. Skylar, senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind a wheel, can still serve a. Oh, stop it. That's a Dumb and Dumber thing. And that's a Seinfeld thing. So we're firing on all cylinders here. Spend all my time with senior citizens. Marty says ditto. Well, whatever Marty says is what goes. I was once in the position of having to learn to play tuba. I started teaching myself, but really learned to play beside a man who was in his 90s. Well, there you go. By playing beside a man who was in his 90s. That'll do it. Again, my mom lived to 100, and I carry so much of her knowledge to this day. She passed in 2014. And they really do. They're a wonderful resource, and I think probably maybe one of the most underutilized resources in our society. How about that? Let's jump on to some stories here, shall we? This one got the press release yesterday. Golden Isles Development Authority launches Elevate Glen, a comprehensive initiative designed to provide local entrepreneurs with the capital, education, and resources they need to start, grow, and expand their business. In partnership with the Lucas Center and the private sector, more than $1 million are earmarked for investment in entrepreneurs in the Golden Isles. My only thing is this. How many of these organizations do we need? I mean, don't we have a bunch of these things nowadays? I mean, it's great. But I don't know how many of these things we really are necessary for us to function in Glen Canny. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's just like another one. Oh, okay. All right. Another thing trying to, I don't know. It just seems like we have at least a half a dozen organizations have the exact same purpose in this community. Now, the other interesting thing is that they're sitting on, and I'm trying to remember, we have county commissioners who tune into this stream. What's the source of their funding? I'm trying to remember, but I know the source of the development authority is basically the county, but where did they get the 20? They got like a 20-something $20 million payout at one point, and they're just sitting on it. And that's what kind of got me when I first saw this. I thought, well, maybe they're doing something with that money at long last. And then as I looked at it, it's only $1 million, which means it's not the money. There was the land, right? It was the sale of land. It was a land sale, I think, that went into their coffers. And so they're going to use $1 million, but then they say, well, it's the Lucas Center and the private sector. So they're really still not spending that 20-something $20 million, which I think is interesting. Mayor Van Johnson yesterday posting on the socials. Yesterday was a rough day in Savannah, particularly at a time when we continue to see marked decreases in violent crime across our city. And it just, the gaslighting, marked decrease. And we've shown you the numbers. We've shown you the numbers that the violent crime is not down. But marked decreases implies they're not just down, it's way down, but it's not. Savannah Police Department responded to 3 separate shooting incidents, East 71st Street, Largo Drive, and West Gwinnett Street. 2 people were injured, including a juvenile. A 3rd shooting incident was detected by our shot spotter technology. And progress does not mean the work is finished. Statistics may show that violent crime is declining, but it didn't. We showed you the numbers. This was when I was still on the radio. We had the numbers, and it was like a hair down from the COVID peak, but it wasn't down from anything like substantial, like from before COVID. It's still way up. And this suggestion that there's this gigantic decrease in violent crime in Savannah, when every single day we come here, we used to joke that we would come on the air every day and have to cover a shooting in Savannah. And now it is every day we're coming on with multiple shootings in Savannah. I don't think has there been a day this week that we haven't had to cover shootings? The shooting by Windsor Forest the other day. That was a multiple shooting day. I think every day this week we've had shootings in Savannah that we've had to contend with. But yeah, it's not getting better. This is what I'm telling you. Let's see. Glenn County needs mission meals. Just saying. There you go. Rather than have 6 organizations doing the exact same thing for entrepreneurs, and look, I appreciate entrepreneurs. I'm one myself. But please, come on, guys, come on. 69 is checking in. Let's see. Scott can Save the Youth honor the South Georgia 40 January 10th. That's the 26th annual Community Appreciation Award Program, the second Sunday, January the 10th, Howard Coffin Park. 6 p.m. free program. Doors open at 4. Starts at 6. Just thought it was good to honor South Georgia 40 owner and sponsors. Diane, you are the sweetest lady. I don't know. I surely there are people more deserving. Surely there are, but you are so sweet. Good morning from Biloxi. All right. Well, just make sure you walk out of there with a little bit of money in your pockets. Okay. Just a little bit. That's all we're asking. You don't have to, well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would it be, everybody's talking about wanting to do a meetup. Everybody is talking about wanting to do a meetup. Maybe that meetup, there's your meetup, January 10th. I mean, think about it. Carrie, yeah, there's your advice for Savannians at this point. Carrie, and also Carrie. Let's see. Next up. What do we have next up? Because this is not flowing the same flow that I have in my roster for some reason. This was kind of neat. This was kind of neat to see that a press release that you put together became a story in the paper of record. And let me just say this. We often go after the press folks for being, taking the press releases and just writing them up and putting them out there, which is kind of how I found out the property tax story that they screwed up badly the other day came to be. But in this particular situation, Michael Hall actually did a little more. There is a chunk of the press release in the story, but he did a lot of footwork, and he put together a story and got his own photos, other than the one I took that I sent out with the press release. And I think his are very good, 2 of them. But it's interesting because, as I'm easing into the job, I've probably written, I don't know, 6 social media posts and put out 1 press release. This was the press release. It's interesting too, because I've actually been chastised for several different social media posts that I didn't write. Like, I've gotten these memos from inside the county. It's nice that you posted this, but this is wrong and this is wrong and this is like, I didn't do that. That was not mine. And one of the things that I've noticed is that they're just there are a lot of hands in a lot of pies, and it's not all as centrally controlled as it probably should be. And it looks like they're making efforts to get it a little more reined in. I think probably the fact that, the position I'm filling wasn't filled kind of created that situation where there's just kind of I'm not going to say it's a Wild West out there on the social media for the county, but in certain respects, it kind of is, or has been anyway. So, but yeah, there's 3 different times now I've gotten notes from people. Appreciate that social media post, but you should do this. I didn't do that social media post. Wasn't me. Had nothing, didn't know it was being posted. Had nothing to do with it. Let's see. Savannah's Greg Parker plans to build Skyline building just steps from City Hall. I can't tell if they're condemning this or not. I can't tell, like, news wise. but it feels like they're condemning it. It feels like they're downing this thing. Well, just steps from City Hall. It just makes it sound like they're not on board. The WSAV folk. Let's take a look at that story really quickly for more of the details, because I do want to get a little bit into this as things go on. There it is. A building just steps from Savannah City Hall could soon be demolished to prepare for a new development, according to the Savannah Historic Board of Review. The applicant requesting the demolition of the building located at 15 Bull Street is Savannah's Greg Parker. He's a well-known philanthropist and founder of Parker's Kitchen. Parker's planning a skyline building for the property on Johnson Square, though no further details have been announced. The building, owned by Parker, currently serves as a Regions Bank. WSAV had obtained a copy of the request for certificate of appropriateness. The document shows that the current building has a non-contributing status, meaning it's not significant to downtown Savannah's historic character. And it's going to be interesting to see if they do this. The new Skyline building is just the latest big project possibly coming to Johnson Square. SAV previously reported that Ritz-Carlton is planned for the adjoining buildings of 2 East Bryant Street and 14 East Bryant Street. I actually think that's a really good idea. I know that's probably not going to go over well, but yeah, probably. Anyway, we'll follow that one, but I think this is a positive thing for them. Savannah mayor also played pretend at so many drag shows. He's now pretending with crime statistics. January 10th meetup would be great, but I suggest we need 3 to 5 planning meetups just to make sure that we're all still on the same page. If you know what I know what you mean. I don't think, no, I'm just going to say no. Morning from 45. All right. You're being too kind. At least that's what I'm being. Well, I don't know if I'm being too kind. I think I'm just being accurate, but, anyway, we shall see. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let's go to this one. This is a thing that just kind of bothers me in life. And it's part of the problem I think we have in our culture and our society. And there it is. Letter to the editor in the paper of record today. Ditto to the recent letter, Worry More About Trump Than the So-Called Socialists by Vicki Green. Ms. Green nails it. Trump supporters love to go on about socialists and communists while ignoring the atrocities committed by our president and his sycophants. Screams of socialists by the Republicans are reminiscent of the old Southern segregationists playing the race card to gain votes and cover up their avarice and corruption. There are opposing sides, obviously, in politics. And we spend a lot of time making the bold and dramatic point that the people who don't agree with us are evil. And apparently we spend a lot of time sneering and looking down our noses at them. But we don't actually try to say, well, why does this person believe this? And why do I not believe the same thing? And the conclusion, I'm sorry, is almost never because they're evil and I'm not. The reality, the real conclusion should almost never be, well, that guy's evil. I mean, you get to Hitler. Sure. Okay, fine. You got me there. But shy of that, we just spend time going, well, that guy votes for something different. Therefore, he is evil, deplorable. I'm going to show spite towards him. I'll tell you this. I said yesterday, I have a problem with socialism. I have a problem with socialists on the left, which, you can't deny there are socialists on the left. Literally, the Democratic Socialists of America are taking over the Democrat Party. But there are socialists on the right at this point because, as I've said, the president has now, the federal government under Trump has taken over some kind of ownership stake in 31 different companies. That is up from 0 at the beginning of his term. And when the government owns the means of production, yes, that is socialism. So I'm screaming socialist, but I'm screaming socialist everywhere. Where does that put me? And it's funny because I'll watch Eric Erickson on social media. And if you know Eric's a conservative. Eric is a principled conservative. Eric, um, he doesn't like a lot of Trump stuff. When Trump does something good, he says something good about it. The second he says something good about Trump, you're just a sniveling Trump, sycophant. That's all you do. You just have your nose up Trump's butt. And it's like, have you read anything the guy's read? I mean, the guy's been pretty balanced on this. But he also gets grief from people on the right who call him you're just a never Trumper. You're an irrelevant never Trumper. And it's like, no human being should be put into a bubble where, you must believe this or you believe this. It's what you see with these politicians when they change. A great example is Charlie Crist, what's he doing? Running for mayor somewhere or something? School board? Charlie Crist was running for office again. He keeps getting smaller and smaller. He was the governor of Florida. I mean, he was the Republican governor of Florida. Then he ran for Senate. And when Marco Rubio started eating his lunch, he changed to an independent, and then he went Democrat, and then he was elected to the House, and then he was not elected to the House. And he ran for governor again and got thrashed like 30 points by Ron DeSantis, who I keep being told by people in Florida, everyone in Florida hates Ron DeSantis, but yet he wins re-election by 30 points. And, but yeah, Charlie Crist was a guy who was a Republican. He was a conservative, and he believed a certain set of things, and then he became a Democrat, and now he believes the exact opposite things. Why? How can that be? I mean, how did every single thing you believe change like that? And sadly, those are the boxes that we put ourselves and each other in right now. I don't get this. Letter writer makes a good point about Republicans. No, not really. Makes a bad point about himself is what he does. And that's what's sad. And the whole Southern segregationist playing the race card to gain votes. The Democrat Party play the race card every 5 seconds. There's some weird race card playing going on right now, too. It's just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Pooler lands $800,000 GDOT grant for Park Trail. I saw this and I went, oh, that's nice. But can we talk about the fact that you still can't, like at the exit with the Tanger outlets, you can't get off at that exit unless you want to wait 5 hours? And GDOT is giving the grant for the park stuff. Like, GDOT, if you're going to spend your money in Pooler, fix the exit. That's like what you should be doing. It blows my mind on that. Absolutely blows my mind. Up, 32's with us. Good morning. Case in point, if you vote for them, y'all going to end up in jail. You're talking about playing the race card. Remember Joe Biden in 2012? Mitt Romney is who they're running against. You know how they always talk about, well, the Democrats, you'll hear this all the time. Oh, I'll tell you, we wish we had Republicans like we used to, like Mitt Romney. Boy, if we had people like Mitt Romney on the Republican side of things would be a lot better because, Mitt Romney was sensible and sane and reasonable. And then you go back to the actual rhetoric, and Mitt Romney was Hitler just like everybody else. And yeah, he wants to unchain the market. And then he says to a predominantly black audience, they go and put, and this is Joe Biden, by the way, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden, Delaware, Joe Biden, they go and put y'all back in chains. Like he's Uncle Remus all of a sudden. They go and put y'all back in chains, Bear Rabbit. I mean, it's just awful. And again, that was Mitt Romney. And now they're like, oh, I wish we had more Mitt Romneys in the world. No, because here's the thing. You called Mitt Romney Hitler. So they said, okay, we can't win with Mitt Romney. We've got to go with somebody else. We can't go with a Mitt Romney type. We can't go with a John McCain type because they're Hitler. So we might as well go with somebody closer to Hitler. I don't know. But you see that he's like Nick Fuentes is a powerful figure to some young people on the right. Why? Because might as well go towards Hitler. Can I scroll stock futures with the day and date for Butch and the other millionaire wannabes? We'll see. We'll see. You never know. I respected Miss Green a lot during my flexi days role playing, but man, she's gotten so senile since retirement. That's sad. It's sad. Good morning, Grand Moff Rifen. 2 questions. Gaston update. Did you see the STM council candidates and a certain familiar? Oh, the St. Mary's Council. Oh, the St. Mary's Council. Yes. Joey. What's his last name? What is his last name? Yes, I saw that. I did see that. He went from running for the House and getting crushed. Joey Palomino. Yes, Joey Palomino. I saw in there. I don't know what to tell you there. Gaston update. There's really not much of an update, but it's good of you to ask about him so that we can show his picture again and show how very cute and adorable he can be. That is him right there. He's play bowing in that picture, as you can see. Right now, he's there. He's getting belly rubs, which again is one of the greatest things you can ever get as a belly rub. And here, walking on the beach, not quite as sure of his surroundings walking on the beach, but he's a good kid. He's been in there, I think, over 640 days, which is insane because he's, again, a good kid, but he's on the list. He's on the list. He's still okay so far, but if they need to euthanize, I think he's one of your top 2. He and Judo are your top 2. And Judo presents some challenges. That's the thing is, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that Judo presents some challenges, but he can be a good dog for somebody. But you just kind of have to understand, and that's the case with a lot of dogs. Period. It's I think one of the things we learned with Lady is she's a challenging dog. There are just certain things and certain ways you have to treat her and certain things you have to do with her because she does present a set of challenges and probably why she was not, we have one, like I said, Lady who's, was abandoned at the dog park and then was adopted and returned. And, we were kind of a later stop in her road and we're glad we have her because she's so sweet, but she presents certain challenges and Judo will be that way. But yeah, he's out there. You got $300 worth of island dog that you can have. I will pay his adoption fee still. That offer still stands. He's got $300 worth of training that has been offered up. All you got to do is go down there, meet him and fall in love with him and take him home. Or you can, again, you can foster him. You don't have to foster him with an eye towards adopting him, but you can certainly, you can foster him with just an eye towards keeping him out and giving him a nice roof over his head and out of the kennel for a little while. He would appreciate that. Governor Charlie. Jeremy kicking, let's try that again. Jeremy checking in, 191. Darian should get an outlet mall to compete with. They had an outlet mall. It's done for. It's toast. Oh my goodness. Yeah. They had an outlet mall. They had a great outlet mall. Man, when that thing opened up, that was the cat's meow. And now it's just sitting there derelict. It's kind of sad. They want Mitt Romney type candidates back because they're easy to beat. There's something to that. But the reality is, I think also they don't really want Mitt Romney type candidates back. They just say they want that because it makes them sound magnanimous. Boy, I would work with a guy like a Mitt Romney. I might even cross the party lines and vote for somebody like a Mitt Romney. And that's not true because the second Mitt Romney stepped up, he'd be Hitler. I think it's just something they say because it makes them sound like they're willing and able to cross the lines, across the aisle and shake hands, spoken Charlie Crist, written Chef Tracy. That's true. I've not referred to him by his nickname in a while. That's true. So I'm sorry. He's been out of the spotlight for a little bit, so I haven't been referring to him. His nickname is the Thunderbird Puppet. That's correct. The Thunderbird Puppet. Poor puppy. Yeah, he's a sweet dog. He really is. They want more Romney. I have family coming, but dog will be on my back bumper pronto. Don't judge me. I don't know what that means. What does this mean? What is that? Is that just a dog? Oh, your dog will be on your back bumper. Okay, that's none of my question. He would be. He was when he stepped up. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Garrett comes in with that grand opening was cool with the treasure hunt. My grandma excited to meet soap opera stars. The outlet mall at Exit 42 in Darien was massive. I mean, it was like a revolution at the time, and it died off, sadly. And it's weird because you could say, well, outlet malls are dying off, but there are some outlet malls that are not dying off. The Tanger, period. Pooler does land office business. Tanger in Daytona does land office business. Orlando Tanger does great out there. The thing about retail being dead, let's talk about that for half a second. The thing about retail being dead, I feel like I think retail's trying to die, but retail can be saved. And maybe it's just because I'm such a shill for retail. I mean, I love retail. I'm a big retail guy. Always have been a big retail guy. But, I look at, what they're doing at the mall. They're trying. My plan for the mall would have been different. Because I can tell you, if you go down, again, use Orlando as the example, but you don't have to, but use Orlando as the example. You go to the mall at Millennia, that mall's bustling. I mean, it's huge. It's doing great business. And why? Because they went high end. They went high end retail. You're not going to compete low end retail because of, Walmart. Walmart's going to kind of hurt you. Sam's is going to hurt you. Costco's going to hurt you. Target's going to hurt you. So you don't do that kind of retail. You do Wentworth galleries. You do higher end jewelry. You do, that kind of thing. So, you can save retail. Mall at Millennia is great. And, the funny thing is when we were down in, I want to say it was December. When we were down in December, I got a note from a neighbor of ours. And I have to be careful about this because it involves the origins of certain holiday entities. But let's just say there was a toy that was being deeply sought after. And the only way to really get it was to go to a store in Orlando at the Florida Mall. I hadn't been to Florida Mall in a while. The last time I had been to Florida Mall, it was dying like all other malls were, or most other malls, I should say. I will tell you, we went for the first time in many years because we went to run this errand for this little girl in our neighborhood who we knew was not going to have the right kind of Christmas unless we did the right thing. And it took us over half an hour to find a parking space. Late December, but it took us over half an hour to find a parking space. And even then it was out in the hinterlands because they had revamped that mall and made it so that it has a lot of high-end retail in it. It really is the way to go. It really is the way that you would only go to the Florida Mall for the M&M store. We went for the American Girl store, but they have an American Girl store and it's nice and it's got its own entrance and you just go in there and you do what you got to do and buy a high-end doll and you leave. But high-end retail, Apple stores, Tesla stores, the stuff that's at St. John Town Center, the stuff, again, another retail outlet that is doing gangbusters is St. John's Town Center. Why? High-end retail. They don't do low-end stuff. Leave low-end to Target and, Walmart and all that other stuff. To me, that's the solution to a lot of this stuff. But, when I've mentioned that to people here, they've gone, do you really think high-end retail can be supported here? There are 3.4 million tourists who come here every year? Yes. If you get off the interstate at exit 38, you have to go past the mall. if you go to St. Simon's Island, you have to go past the Pinova site, which is why I keep suggesting that high-end retail right there is your first solution. It's not the only thing that can go there because there's 300 acres. And I think I checked on the footprint of St. John Town Center, and I don't think it's more than 15, 20 acres. So I mean, it's not a footprint that is all encompassing for that 300 acres of Pinova property. But yeah, I really believe high-end retail is the retail that will save things. And when you put it right there at the entrance to St. Simon's Island, and people in Brunswick have been clamoring for years to get people off of St. Simon, tourists off of St. Simon's and spending money in Brunswick. High-end retail right there. All you got to do. Anyway, I digress. They actually believe what you just said. Narcissists can't see themselves. They may believe that you may be right on this whole thing, that there may be a real belief that when they say, oh, if only you had a Mitt Romney and that I might actually cross. And then of course you get a Mitt Romney, then he's Hitler. Right away. 137's in. We're glad to have you here. They should be saying we are Hitler. Exit 49. I lived a mile away in New McIntosh County. Wasn't big enough to support the site. Boy, I'll tell you what, but it got a lot of people pulled off the interstate. Man, do the owners of Oaks Mall in Gainesville, Florida still own Glen Place? I don't know who owns it at this point. I don't know. It's City View, I think, is the name of the company. Is that right? City View. I feel like that's right. I'll tell you this too. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about this yesterday, in fact. Things are probably not going to happen with iHeart. Sadly. There's a certain appeal to returning to the way things were. But there's also a certain appeal to going off into an uncharted future and kind of doing your own thing. And the conversations that I've had with them have not given me more hope for returning to the status quo. They've actually made me less optimistic about it. Well, I don't know. I don't think they're serious about a long-term commitment. I don't think they're serious about a real commitment. Sadly. And I hate that. I think the people at the local level are very serious about it. But when you go upstairs, it's just, I think, but that having been said, then the question came up for me yesterday is like, what do I do about the turkey giveaway this year? Because it looks like I'm not going to get out of this non-compete until January when it ends. And I'll tell you. Oh, yeah, St. John's Town Center, 51. Okay, 51.2 acres. Okay, still, I remember looking it up. I couldn't remember what the numbers were, but still, when you're talking about 300 acres, that's a sixth of it. It's a tiny part of the footprint. I looked up a bunch of different footprints. I looked up like the ViStar Arena footprint because I know people want to put a stadium there, and I've looked up a bunch of different footprints, but I knew that none of the footprints really was enough to clobber that site. That you could do a lot of different things there. Anyway, oh shoot. Oh yeah. So the turkey giveaway, I may do it through the stream. I hate to think of not doing the turkey giveaway this year. So, I talked to, the Roach the other day, and, cause the question is like, where do we put the donations? Cause if I ask for the donations to me, first off, people go, oh, what are you going to do with our money? And secondly, I would have to report it as income, which it really wouldn't be, but then I'd have to report it but then I would have to just be spending it on the turkey, and I don't have my S Corp set up or anything like that. So I couldn't do it through that just yet. Although by then I probably will have it, but, so I talked to the Roach, and he's willing to let it, or his church is willing to let the money kind of go to them, and then they discharge it for that, and then they discharge the remainder for the Glen Community Crisis Center. So we can do the turkey giveaway this year. I would like to do the turkey giveaway. Unless iHeart does it somehow, but I don't think they will. the Ronald McDonald House thing's a little different because in Savannah they don't have programming people anymore, but they have promotions people who are still with the company, and they've already sold a sponsorship and all that, so they may try to execute that. I don't want to step on their toes, so I'm going to hold off on the Ronald McDonald House thing. But Billy and everybody else at the Ronald McDonald House, just know that if you guys do need support or help, I will be there, no doubt. Let's see. Speaking of meeting stars, I see that St. Mary's Little Theater is putting on another Night with the Stars type event anchored with a Liza Minnelli impersonator. Not sure if it's a he, she. Let me just tell you this. If it's a Liza Minnelli impersonator, it's a guy. I'll just go ahead and tell you straight up right now. If it's a Liza Minnelli impersonator, it's a guy. No other way about it. If it's a Cher impersonator, it's a guy. Let's see. Would only go to Florida more. Oh, yeah, we talked about that earlier. Sorry, I should have put the dog on the roof. Want more Romney in the world. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I notice a trend where people say, wish the country would bring XYZ, or the county would bring. I don't think they get to the point where you don't want a government that chooses what opens, and they would scream about the network. You are so playing in a field that I have played in so many times before, because it drives me crazy to see, and something will be announced as happening. They'll announce something as opening. Oh, so-and-so is going to be built over here, and they're going to open up in June or whatever. And immediately people will go, why doesn't the county understand we don't want that? Why doesn't the county understand we actually want blah, blah, blah? And it's like, the county is not running around picking businesses to open. Tell the county we want a Krispy Kreme. Which you know what? With Holtz out there, I don't need Krispy Kreme. Just saying. But it frustrates me that people invest the level of faith and trust in the government, and then of course they turn around and not invest faith and trust in government when it comes to things like data centers, flock cameras, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, they think the county is running around like the county is Julie, the cruise director, coming up with things for their pleasure. And there's a certain aspect to people in the county who do want to lure businesses here that will be good for the residents of the county. I'm not saying that. But the county doesn't just go, the county doesn't own all the land in the county and go, we're putting this here and we're putting that there. This isn't Disney World, where they do own all the land and they can say we're putting this here and we're putting that there. This is not that. So yeah, and the other thing is when they say doesn't the county know we don't want this? First off, it's not the county's. I finished reading that stupid Godfall book, and I want to go to town on that book. But this reminds me of that because the guy has no clue how municipal governments work. And it's like in a novel about small town politics, and one of the things that happens, the major thing that happens at the beginning of the novel, is a 3-mile long body falls from space and lands by this small town. That's the most believable thing in the book, because the guy does not understand how small towns and municipalities and how they actually function. But I digress. It does drive me crazy because they'll say, well, why does the county let this happen? Well, look, if the zoning is right, and if the site plan is right, they don't have any place to tell people what they can and can't build after that. I get more frustrated at county, if the county steps in and says, oh, you can't put this there. Our people don't want that, like the city does. Like the city sits there and goes, you can't put that there. You might sell the devil's grape juice, and that's being sold next door. We've already got too many devil's grape juice sellers around here. Like if you put an extra liquor store in there, people will drink more liquor. And it's like, no, they'll just compete with each other. But anyway, the point is that, and the last part about that is when people sit there and scream, we don't want that here. Doesn't the county know we don't want that here? Well, the thing is, the people who are opening the business have done, market studies, and they've determined that, yes, you do want it there. Maybe not you personally, but please don't presume to speak on behalf of every single person in the county or every single person in your little bubble. Let them decide whether or not they think the county wants it here, and the county doesn't want it. The people of the county don't want it here. They will let you know through not giving you the business, like Highway 55. Highway 55's had 2 swings at it so far, and neither one was anything that I would call. None of that's anything that I would call successful. So, but yeah, you're right. Then, of course, the county really did choose everything. Then it would be the Good Old Boy Network. Absolutely right. Go-kart and bungee jump at the foot of the causeway. Well, invest. That's what I'll say. Invest. Always doing, yes, 100%. City View is the real estate company owns the Urban clothing store in the mall. All right, okay, see, I don't have my wallet in here. I actually have the card of the manager, and it's got the company, but I swore it was City View. I'm for owning your own thing. iHeart had a great run. We had a great run on there. Before iHeart, during iHeart, and afterwards. I will donate $100 to Turkey in Your Trunk individuals. We'll work on that. I'm just telling you now, probably going to be a thing. Remember you saying the turkey giveaway is a well-oiled machine already, just promoted here. Yeah. And that's the thing, is it really, I mean, I had a meeting about it a couple of weeks ago, just kind of, this is how it's going to work. I hope I'm on the air by then. I don't now think I will be on the air by then, because of legalities, but it is a well-oiled machine, but obviously it has to be a funded well-oiled machine. And the question is, can I generate that kind of funding? We probably have in total that watch the stream, watch it later, the stream, watch it later, watch it on Facebook, watch it on YouTube. We probably get between 4,000 and 5,000 viewers per stream. Pretty good. For a stream, it's fantastic. But it's not, we had 18 to 20,000 all told, podcast, all of that, doing the in Glenn County, doing the show on the radio. So yeah, it's a smaller audience, sadly. But that's just kind of what it is. But we get it back on the radio, we'll be doing okay. But yeah, the question just is, can I raise the money for that? But honestly, it takes about $4,000 to really do it. I think we could probably generate that. I think last year we generated about 8 or 9. And then for the 10,000 we were supposed to raise for the Ronald McDonald House people, we did 36. But I'm not good at my job. But yeah, that's I'm looking at probably doing it here because I don't want to not do it. I don't want to not go through with it. I do want it to happen. So we'll see. Pushing for a zoo at the site. All right, you do what you got to do. St. John's Town Center was crazy when we went down a couple weeks ago. Here's the thing. It's crazy all the time. If you go at Christmas time, it's crazy, of course. But if you go on January 28th, it's still crazy. Why? High-end retail. This is what I'm telling you. Now, there's a Dollar Tree near it. There's a Target near it. But by and large, high-end retail. I worked at Chicago Cutlery in the outlet mall at Darien. When the mall opened, there were some spaces that were never leased from the start. That wasn't a good sign. That is not a good sign. But we were very impressed with that thing. They are water and power. Perfect spot for a data center right off of I-95. Easily accessible by domestic terrorists. I think that'd be good. Now that you have more than 40 listeners, it should be a problem to raise money. There you go. There you go. I think we'll do it. Keep the turkey giveaway. Yeah, I do. iHeart's made the decision. I don't believe they're going to change their mind. It's time for a new chapter. And it appears you're on the right track. No, iHeart has not made their decision. That's the thing. No, you don't. Apparently, I have not conveyed myself properly. I have spent the last couple of weeks talking to them and having them asking me to come back. They issued me terms Friday. This is what we would like to do for you if you would come back. I find the terms unacceptable. So, no, it's not a matter of they're not going to change their mind. They did change their mind. It's a matter of I don't think it's the right path right now. You mean you don't want your model to look like Dawn of the Dead with the exception of Belk and a giant church? I mean, we were just talking about Dawn of the Dead the other day. It's my favorite of those movies. And somebody, I can't remember who was I talking about that with? Wasn't Robbie, was it? Anyway, we were talking about it, and whoever it was really liked Zack Snyder's redo of Dawn of the Dead. And I've never really paid attention to it, but I love the original Dawn of the Dead because, the zombie invasion came, these guys holed up in the mall. And I just thought that was the best because these guys were living in the mall. And as a teenager, because I think the first time I saw it, I was 16 or so. And as a teenager living in the mall, that's the best thing ever. I mean, yes, you're doing it because there's zombies outside, but boy, they wound up having, there's some montages of them having a lot of fun living in the mall. I thought it was going to be the best. Let's see, Joseph, turn Glen Place Mall into a giant indoor ball pit and extreme speed walking course. All right. Bring Steak and Shake back. Well, yeah, that Steak and Shake was not run the best. Let me just say that. And nice malls become a destination. Exactly. You are picking up what I'm putting down. Mall at Millennia is a destination. All these Tanger outlets are higher end retail for the most part, and they're all destinations. It's great. Son and daughter-in-law currently staying at Ronald McDonald House, and that place is amazing. Are you staying at the one in Savannah, Coastal Empire? If so, please say hey to Billy and everybody there for me. You cannot set foot in that place and see and understand the mission of what they do and not just have your heart swell up. It is an amazing, amazing place, and they're great people. Bring our exit 29 Winn-Dixie back. Yeah, well, county ain't going to do that. That's between Aldi and the owner of the building at this point. Yes, you can generate that kind of funding here. I think maybe you're right. Not a big fan of Aldi, just a giant Dollar General grocery store. It reminds me of a Soviet era grocery store is the thing about it that I like. Wait, they didn't really say if you would come back as if you're the one that ended it. Well, no, they said no. Their actual words were, "We made a mistake." No, actually it was, "We messed up." That was the exact quote that was said to me when they called to ask me back. But I think, if you would come back is they would like me to come back. I mean, I don't think that's, you may be reading too much into that. I'm not there. So would you like to come back? It's not, but yeah, they made the decision, and it was a terrible decision, and I hate it because there's a lot of people, there are a lot of people on that team, still on that team to this day in the sales arena that I really like, appreciate, loved working with, loved being part of the team, would love to work with again at some point. But, and I'll get more into the details of it later, once this all passes. But what was being offered just didn't make sense to me in my current situation. And again, if they had come to me with this a month and a half ago, or just never done it in the first place, it would have been a very different thing. But things have changed, sadly, and they do. There are two stories, by the way, as I try to get through all of our stories for today, of which there are many. There are two different stories today about Savannah, Chatham County public school system failing their special needs kids. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but it's amazing that, when you see there's one, oh, okay, fine. But you got this one, mom of special needs child. By the way, that guy is not the mom of a special needs child. I think he's an ad. Chatham County mother is suing Savannah Chatham County Public School Systems, SCCPSS, who, remember, their superintendent makes over $300,000 a year. This is what you're getting for your $300,000. Chatham County mother suing Savannah Chatham County Public School for failing to provide her daughter with a free, appropriate public education. Maureen Brown's daughter, Xiolia, Xiolia, suffered from a rare disease that made her wheelchair bound, unable to move or speak. She's a beautiful angel full of personality, said Brown. Although she was nonverbal, she spoke with her eyes. Brown said her daughter deserved a proper education despite her many physical challenges. She said the issue started during Zeolia's kindergarten year. She was supposed to be in school. Because she had no immune system, she was home. So she was supposed to get services. They didn't call me until maybe 2 weeks before school ended and said, we just realized she's not been in school for the entire time. That is a huge oversight, by the way. That's not some tiny thing. 2 weeks before school ends. Wait a minute, where's Zeolia? Not good. She said during this time, the school marked her present, even though she was not receiving an education. You know what that reeks of to me? I think you probably know. That reeks of, we need the attendance to get the government money. So we're going to mark the child here or pretend like the child is here so that we can get the money. That's what it reeks of. And then you've got, let's see, I'll pull it up. I'll get to it. Where is it? Chatham County special needs mother concerned after child returned back home after quick school bus ride. Special needs child was returned home after a quick ride on the bus. Now the student's mother, who wishes to remain anonymous, is speaking out about the incident. Asmahan's daughter has Down syndrome. She told WSAV she sent her daughter to school on the special needs school bus, expecting her to make it to West Chatham Middle School. Just 10 minutes later, the bus returned home to drop off her daughter. When I got her from the bus, I just asked the driver what's wrong. She said she's screaming and the others are quiet. Asmahan said that behavior is not uncommon for special needs students. She said that because it was a special needs bus, her daughter should have been taken to school as scheduled. Well, what I will say of that one is, you can't just have a kid being completely disruptive the entire time, regardless of special needs, not special needs, whatever. And I don't think we pay school bus drivers enough to deal with that. I know. Just make me angry. Get angry at me. That's fine. But I'm saying it. What stage of grief is that? Acceptance? Yeah, for me. Put the point of contact out for them to blow up their phones and email and get you the deal you want. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to do that. And I'll tell you again, because they're making the deal. It's not the deal I want. But I will go do something else and we'll be okay. Are they still bargaining? I guess. No, I don't. They've offered me the bargain. They've told me it's not negotiable. I'm supposed to give them an answer today. But no. I think it's interesting how they can fire and keep you from working in your professional field. How's that possible? Well, there are non-compete clauses in contracts, and the dirty part of it is when they give you the contract, they say, we're giving you this 3-year contract, this 5-year contract, because we really want you here. And we support your being here and we're all behind you, blah, blah, blah. And then, they're not really, but that's still built into the contract regardless. And, that would be one of the things if I were to come back, that would be one of the things is the contract would not be the same type of contract. It would not be everybody else's contract because these contracts are rampant in this business and they're standard in this business. And essentially what they wanted to do was pay me 3 months salary to take 6 months off. And 3 months salary was a little over half of what I actually would have made in 3 months. It was really like a month and a half salary to take 6 months off. Because of other bonuses and endorsement fees and all that. So, so basically paying you a month and a half to take 6 months off just doesn't work mathematically. And it's kind of a shameful thing to do to people, frankly. But that would not be a deal. That would be a deal breaker at this point, especially, knowing that you don't have the confidence that you're going to be there. But also I talked to a few other people who just were like, run. I talked to some people in the company who just were like, run. So they didn't even, yeah. Well, and again, yeah, I think I can build a thing, and I think I can build my thing, and they'll be perfectly fine and happy because they've saved a salary, and I'll be perfectly fine and happy because I built a thing. So Kathy is in Savannah. Willow, the therapy. She's such a gentle soul. Just a sweet, sweet, sweet dog. Willow, the therapy dog, is up there. She just wanders the house at the Ronald McDonald House, and she's so calm. She's so chill at all times, no matter what. Just the sweetest thing. Just a sweet, sweet dog. Absolutely. All right, let's jump into some other things here. Name your team. We just talked about this yesterday. The fact that Savannah is getting an indoor football league team. They don't have a name, so they need a name. What would the name for the Savannah Indoor Football League team be? I think it's an interesting question. Definitely one to pontificate about. Anybody got any ideas off the top of their head? Bananas is taken. Sorry. Sand Gnats is probably already owned still. But what else have you got? Let's see what we've got here. No, I would not do that. Not do that. I have a name, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet. They gave me 2 weeks salary and a year off. They might do that to you next time. Well, I'm not going there. Not going there. We found Aldi's to be an excellent store. Quality and selection, excellent for comparable products. No compromise in quality, considerable savings. Particular fine salmon, cheese selection. Jeff, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've been sucked into the Soviet propaganda. Savannah shoot. Oh my goodness. Too soon. Savannah Shooters. August 2019, 21st commercial radio broadcast, Detroit. Is that right? Savannah Sweats. Well, it can't be Savannah Sweets because, that's taken. But certainly there's a lot of sweat going on right now. The Savannah Tribe. Don't know. Maybe. We'll see if we can't pile any more on there. This is ridiculous, by the way. This is performative nonsense. So we were talking earlier today about how there's shooting after shooting after shooting. 3 shootings day before yesterday. Every day we have come in here and we have talked about shooting. And so what are they going to do about kids shooting? And remember, these shootings, when we talk about the suspects, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, teenage guys, again, the senior citizens of the group are 20 years old. So what are they doing in Savannah? Walking. That's right. Hey, this is Stephen Glover, WTOC. A pre-planned Savannah community walk took on heavy urgency following a series of violent Tuesday shootings. The Wednesday event was scheduled weeks in advance, but 3 separate shootings less than a day prior changed the entire tone of the march. A massive wave of SPD and city officials hit the pavement in the Live Oak neighborhood to stand in solidarity with the community. Maybe you should arrest people who commit crimes and put them in prison. I think that's what walking is not going to stop. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of the performative thing. You know that because we've talked about it before. I've never been a fan. I was, when the Ice Bucket Challenge came out, I was like, oh, God, come on, guys. Seriously, if you want to donate to ALS, donate to ALS. But dunking each other with water is not curing ALS. And where are we today on ALS? Same place we were when the Ice Bucket Challenge was going on. I know. But, and everybody, but they've got a spike in donations. And I said, let's see how that works out long term. Long term, they're back where they were. So the spike in donations was nice, but everybody moved on and nobody's donating to ALS anymore. I mean, not nobody, but the people who did it before are still doing it, and that's about it. So yeah, I've never been a fan of the performative thing. Like if you want to do something, like we do something, we give the turkeys away. We give a Christmas shopping spree to people. I'm just not a fan of, I'm making a difference. How? I'm walking. What? You're law enforcement. We had that story the other day of the sheriff's office and the DA, Shalina Cook Jones, and she dropped, they wound up dropping this beating that happened in Savannah because the DA said there wasn't enough evidence. And, at the time I was like, well, Sheriff Coleman kind of does stupid things in Savannah. So there you go. But the more I looked into that, the more I realized there's a video. The beating in Savannah the parking lot beating where the three guys were accused. There's a video clearly showing them beating the crap out of a guy. And the DA says, it's not enough evidence. It's literally a video. I don't know how much more clear it can be that these guys went and beat the crap out of a guy in a parking lot. And the DA up there is going, if only we had enough evidence. If only there were a way we could get more evidence in this. How much more evidence do you need than a video? I mean, we always talk about how, boy, I wish there were a video of this and then we'd have no problem. But yet, we're literally talking about a crime that was committed on video, and there's not enough evidence. There's not enough evidence. Let's see. Savannah Banana Spiders, the Savannah group. Yes, the Savannah group. The Savannah Squares. That's not bad. That's not bad. The Chatham Gangbangers with a Z. Savannah Highlanders comes up. That's actually not bad at all, because people would actually go with that. Property rights should be respected, but not absolute. Opinion piece double talk. What? I don't know what that is. Savannah Cottonmouths. Savannah Skeeters. Savannah Mudcats. Savannah Slowpokes. We don't want that. Savannah Zombie Pirates. Keep the pirate thing going. That's not bad. That's not bad. The Savannah Skid Marks. You could have the Skidaway Skid Marks. Bring back reform schools. Savannah Blues, Savannah Cicadas, but they only play once every 30 years. The Savannah Surge. I kind of like the Highlanders. I kind of dig that. I think that's it's kind of powerful. It's related to the area. I like the Zombie Pirates thing too, though. But I guess they have the Ghost Pirates as well, right? For the hockey, the Ghost Pirates or Ice Pirates. What's the hockey team? So I don't know. Maybe not. Don't know. Savannah. And by the way, as they're walking yesterday, they're now looking for two individuals connected to a Tuesday aggravated assault in the 800 block of Montgomery Street. So hopefully while they were walking, they had their eyes peeled for the folks who are wanted for the assault. Again, priorities. I don't get it. Shooting in Valdosta claims the life of one. Man, if you guys would just start walking, we wouldn't have any problem. That shooting would never have happened if you guys had been walking. 2 girls rescued after kidnapping. Man arrested in Bullitt County. Now, let's tick people off this morning. It's my morning moment to tick people off. Let's read. Let's read this article together. This is a WSAV article by Hank Tatum. Bullitt County deputy stopped a vehicle traveling from North Carolina and arrested a 21-year-old man accused of kidnapping 2 girls on Tuesday, officials said Wednesday. Seth Talmadge, 21, allegedly kidnapped an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old and was traveling through Bullitt County from Yadkin County, North Carolina. He was wanted on a warrant from Yadkin County Sheriff's Office and will be extradited to North Carolina. Bullitt County deputies initiated the traffic stop after they utilized flock cameras to locate Talmadge's vehicle. You know, what's interesting is, I've been part of, I didn't write it, but I was part of the discussions on a press release that came out last week about 2 separate incidents in Glenn County where 2 different people were arrested because they were picked up on flock cameras and there was an alert out for them. They both drove through Glenn County and the flock cameras hit on them. I saw a video from yesterday of Jabari Gibbs, and Jabari's a reporter for The Current. And people often send me articles from The Current. And I try to be peaceful with The Current, but the Current is a bunch of left-wingers calling themselves unbiased, which is what left-wingers always do. And Jabari's always been nice to me. He's a good guy, nice guy. But he's left-winger. And he's been on and on and on about the flock cameras. And I saw the video of him at some conference somebody was having, I don't know. But he was talking about the fact that, and I always ask police chiefs, Can you give me an examples of situations where flock cameras have helped you catch somebody and they can never give me an example off the top of their head? I was like, no, there are examples all over the place. If you don't know of any examples, you're not looking. Right here, utilize flock cameras to locate Talmadge's vehicle. So an 11-year-old, and that's the other thing I was told, my buddy Tim said, why aren't they getting sex traffickers? Boom. They got a guy taking underage girls across state lines. What more do you need to know? Let's see. Got some more Savannah indoor football team names. Ghost Pirates. Tarantulas. Let's see. But we don't get why shoppers go out of their way to pay Publix premium prices for no better quality. Selection. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of selection. That's why. I mean, that's honest to goodness. I like going to Publix. I like going to Publix because they have exactly what I want, not sort of what I want in a different package. Savannah sharecroppers, I'm sure that is. That's not bad. Not bad. I'm still partial to Highlanders. I'm still partial to something with ghost in it or pirate in it, excuse me. Oh yeah, this. Do we even get to this? I've got so much to do and we're getting so low on time here at this point. I thought this was great. More data center stuff. AI data centers are saving the small towns everyone else left for dead. And I hope people trying to stop that from happening have trouble sleeping at night. Pre-data center, Ellendale Mayor Don Flaherty told me the town collected about $400,000 in annual sales tax revenue. In just the first 7 months of 2026, it reaped $3.5 million. Flaherty estimated Ellendale's taxable property value will skyrocket from $3.5 million to $35 million from $400,000. Ellendale can now afford to repave its streets, renovate its senior center, finance a new public safety complex, establish walking trails, and refurbish its historic opera house. Jeff Ringstead, superintendent of Ellendale Public School, told me that applied digital grants allowed the district to buy new computers, purchase an ice machine for the teacher's lounge, and finance a playground renovation. We were a dying little town. When they have brain tumors and loss of health and hearing, they may see your point. And then this, which I love, the AI-generated flyer on the right here. Power bills up to 267% higher. Not true. Cancer and death. There is zero evidence of cancer and miscarriages. Drains local water supply. One center sucks millions daily. Towns go dry. I actually saw a really nice chart. We've talked about how they use about a tenth of the water that Pinova used when they were here and about a tenth of the water that the pulp mill uses. They don't, like, I saw a comparative chart. It is amazing. The number, producing one cell phone takes about 3 times as much. I mean, it's just like the amount of things that AI that take more water than AI data centers is absolutely amazing. 24/7 noise. Old ones, there was some noise. Now, not so much. Man-made heat islands. 3.6 to 16 degrees hotter 6 months. This is just not true, guys. Just because it says it on the internet with a graphic that was created by some processor in a data center, it's just not true. Sorry. The Savannah. Yeah, we did that one with Savannah groups. The groups. Without us protesteth too much, you do have to ask why. And you do ask why. Unfortunately, a lot of it is China. I got to tell you, there are times when I'm critical of that Donald Trump guy. Taking an ownership stake in over 31 companies. I'm critical. Another place where I'm critical is Congress passed a law. Congress passed a law mandating we shut down TikTok, and it was never done. It is the law of the land that TikTok be shut down. And I will tell you, I actually saw a piece the other day, and I don't know who put out the report, so I don't want to go in depth with the report. Supposedly a report that TikTok literally churns off parts of your brain. And again, I get a little skeptical about those kinds of things, but confirmation bias, it sounds like something that could be true. Therefore, I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, again, that's confirmation bias in action, which is a big thing of this day and age. But yeah, I'm willing to listen to that because the propaganda in TikTok is so pervasive and so untrue about half the stuff that it's got on there. I'll tell you another one about the flock cameras that I saw the other day. And again, you want to talk about all the conspiratorial stuff coalescing together. I saw a guy locally post on the police post that I wrote, the police post that everybody's just going nuts on. This one guy says, yeah, and we got those flock cameras from the same people that gave us exploding pagers. That's right. He's blaming the Jews for the flock cameras. You can't make this stuff up at this point. It's gotten so crazy. It's just nuts. Let's see. Oh, so a couple of things I do want to get into before we have to get out of here for the day. I want to make sure we're able to. Oh, yeah. Oh, golly. I had this yesterday and I didn't get to it. And I have it again today. Do you remember when they first appointed Lindsey Graham's sister to the Senate seat? And I said, I don't know if this is the best thing. And I was getting people going, oh, she served with this government body and that government body and the other government body. And okay. She's doing a debate for her Senate seat. Because remember, she's got to run for it because Lindsey was running for it. And Lindsey, Mr. Foreign Policy. You would think that would be a thing too. That would be something that would maybe have rubbed off on her a little bit. And she has said, well, I'm not as into foreign policy as Lindsey Graham is. But she was asked about, very simple stuff. China, Taiwan, South China Sea. And this is literally what her response was. And she's a senator now of the United States because she was appointed senator of the United States of South Carolina. She's the junior senator behind Tim Scott.
National security question as well. Senator, are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? If so, why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? And if so, why or how?
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security. But I do support the military. My brother was in the Air Force for 33 years. So I will do everything I can to support the military.
That is not an answer to that question. And that is a senator now. And, my brother, you got a chance to work her brother in there. And the sad thing is, like when you saw Lindsey Graham out there, if he wasn't campaigning for a judicial nominee somewhere, he was out there campaigning for some foreign policy issue. Like that's all you ever saw him talk about was either a judicial candidate or foreign policy stuff. How did none of this ever come? How did none of it get discussed at Thanksgiving? How did none of this ever come up? She doesn't have the chops to be there. I hate that, but she does not have the chops to be there. That's a terrible answer. Terrible, terrible answer. But it's just one answer. But it's so fundamentally avoidable and at the same time so fundamentally horrible. Oh, yeah. So, I've got the chart. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The data center water usage. So smartphones, just use of smartphones, 3 times as much water consumption per year as the data centers. Cigarette production of cigarettes, twice as much as data centers. Avocado production, 2.3 times as much. No, 4 times as much as data centers. Producing coffee takes 8 times as much water as data centers. Producing alcohol 16 times as much water as AI data centers. Olive oil, 26 times as much water as a data center. Steel, 42 times as much water as a data center. The production of eggs, yes, eggs, 44 times as much water as data centers. Beef, 84 times as much water as data centers. Milk and cheese production, 170 times as much water as data centers. Sugar, 214 times as much water needed. Clothing. Oh, you guys don't want the data centers because of the water consumption. You better think twice about wearing clothes today. 216 times as much water usage. Wheat. 512 times. Let me do that one more time. Sorry. 412 times as much water usage as a data center to produce wheat. And then all other water usage, 2,000 times as much use as data centers. Data centers and water usage, not your problem. Not your problem. Let's see. Do you ever ask politicians why Georgia's auto insurance rates are so high? No, I have never asked that. I've never asked that. I had physical secondhand embarrassment watching it. And look, it's a nice gesture to want to put her in that position, but let's be real. We need real senators. We need real senators. Very concerned. Yeah, the fact that she had to ask the question repeated is a red flag. She's stalling. That's absolutely what she was doing. Greta said she regretted asking that question, that with the limited time allowed, it was not fair to either candidate to ask such a complicated question. Still, it's a complicated question, but it's a complicated issue. Are we just supposed to not ask complicated? Sorry, can't ask complicated questions here. We don't have enough time to properly vet our senators because we're not going to ask complicated questions. We can't do that. And it's really easy to just say, look, we get a lot of chip production. We get a lot of production of goods and services, period, from a free Taiwan. So yes, South China Sea, Taiwan, definitely an issue of national security. Move. Done. Easy stuff. Chinese expansion there would damage the chip supply around the world. And we're already having chip supply around the world. If you want to blame data centers for something, they're hogging a lot of our chips. That I'll be completely in agreement with you on. You convinced me, let's get rid of alcohol distillers. The propaganda of anti-data centers, I swear, is coming from China. It absolutely is coming from China. Been doing this is specifically for us to rely on our information being stored over there, and U.S. government members must be profiting of it. China is 100% where this rhetoric is coming from. 100% where the rhetoric is coming from. Trust me on this. All right, what else do we have here? Darlene Graham didn't do the homework. I got to that already. Don't fall for fake poll. This was an interesting piece. I am so far behind time right now. I can't do this. I can't do this today. Let me mark this for tomorrow because it's a really good piece. But basically, a lot of the polling in the primaries has been bad. Like up 20 points, lose by 1, like Francesca Hong did. It's been really, really bad. But there was one group that actually created a bunch of fake polls and put them out, and just put out fake polls, and news organizations ran with them. They published the polls. So-and-so foundation says in their poll, blah, blah, blah. And they reported the poll. Poll was totally made up out of whole cloth. And they were literally these guys put together this organization specifically for the purpose of peddling fake polls to the news to see if they would run with it. And they did. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll keep it on the list for tomorrow. All right, let's see. I'll drive past 4 Aldis just to get to, you and me both. Something came up at work, so I'm time traveling, but I have to say I'm not embarrassed that a sitting U.S. senator can be this dumb on foreign policy. I'm disturbed that a voting age American that can send young men to die for the publics of something, what? Doesn't know enough about the subject. I think something got messed up in voice to text there, but I think we may understand what you're saying. And even if we don't, it was funny. All right. I got to get out of here. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay cool. Keep hydrated. Do all those good things. And we will see you tomorrow morning for the Friday morning program. I'll be happy it's Friday. Hope you will be too. I will see you then. Don't forget to go say hey to Gaston at Animal Services if you